your collab with Skrillex.
Dude, it was like really something that just absolutely naturally just fell into place in like a wild, wild way. Life or whatever at that time was kind of just flipped on its head. I was like, all right, I guess I'm moving back to Detroit. And first person I called was Matt and told him I'm moving back to Detroit. And he just said, let's get in the studio when you get back and let's write a banger. He posts on his story, Flo Dan hears that night. He says, yo, let me get on that. Right. He sent vocals the next day. Oof. The vocals set absolutely perfectly on it. Skrillex reposted it and liked it. He ended up FaceTiming Matt and he was just like, dude, like, I love the track. He's like, I've got some really cool arrangement ideas. Being so musically inspired by him and just always being like, obviously just inspired as him as an artist, and then meeting him and actually seeing like, that's him. Yeah. So, like, he's real.
G-Rex, welcome to the Underground Society podcast, man. How are you?
Good. How are you, man? I'm excited.
It's just an honor to have you here, man. I've been a fan ever since Babatunde when you released that song with Peekaboo, and I've been a fan ever since. So that's kind of where I wanted to start, was with Babatunde, because I think that's where I first learned about you, and a lot of people that might be listening to this, that was kind of your song that really started your trajectory as an artist. Tell me just kind of the backstory of that song, because it was definitely like a game changer at the time.
How that came to be is both me and Peekaboo are from Detroit.
Okay.
And we both went to school at Western Michigan, and I'm older than him, and Sully also went to Western Michigan.
Yeah,
we all went to school
I had
together.
Sully on the podcast a while ago, yeah.
So I'm like the oldest, and then Sully, and then Matt.
Damn,
Peekaboo,
Matt's the youngest?
And, yeah, he is the youngest of the... So I had met him in 2017. I had moved back from LA. I went to Icon. I ended up dropping out of Icon. It just wasn't for me, like near the end of it, but wanted to stay in LA. My music stuff didn't really pop off. Didn't have any money to live there anymore. So I moved back to Detroit. Ended up going back to Western, where I had went to school, and met Matt and Sully and all of them. We all like with company, and there was just a bunch of us. There was a show there. Met Matt. So started talking, loved his music, and then I got asked to do a remix for the AT-Aliens, this Witch Doctor song, and I started it and sent it to Matt, and I was like, dude, I think like we should work on this together. This would be really fun. And we finished it in like 2 hours.
Holy shit.
And that was just done. And then we were like, dude, we should, that was so much fun and easy. We should circle back. Let's do an original this time. And that was Babatunde. And sick. So, yeah, it was cool. That was both kind of a big launch for both of us. Yeah. I mean, we both had outside jobs and stuff. Like he was working at Guitar Center. I was doing landscaping and all sorts of stuff.
That song for real changed your life then in a good way.
Yeah. Awesome. I don't think we like really realized it like when we like wrote it, because we were just like, oh, this is cool. Yeah. Like, and then we started sending it around, and people were just like, whoa, like this is
crazy.
This is something different.
And everyone remixed
now.
It, and everyone was playing it in their sets for a couple of years there. Gosh, no offense, but I heard it for so long that it almost got kind of annoying.
Oh yeah. I mean, like it's a double-edged sword when you have a song like that. When you love it, obviously, because what it's doing and helping your art, but also like you hearing it 500,000 times after you already heard it that many times to make it.
For real.
So
how you mentioned Icon, which I want to get to in a second, but when did you start producing?
2011.
Okay, cool. So you've been over 10 years now, 13 years. Damn, it's been a while. So you would definitely say that Babatunde was the song that like changed the trajectory for you.
I wouldn't say. I think that was the song that got the trajectory recognized.
Oh, okay.
Because I think that there was a couple. I think the song like before that really like started, like big artists started playing it out, was I did a Deep Down Low remix with Tynan. With same kind, it was the same kind of like concept of just doing like low sub design with like trap drums.
Like no one really was doing that at the time either. Still, I mean, people are now doing it because of that song.
Now
but,
it's starting to catch. But yeah, it was just that was like when me and Tynan did that, and then there was a lot of like artists started playing that in festival sets and stuff, and it was kind of just like I was like, all right, I need to get deeper into this style, and I think I found my thing.
Yeah,
so
that's cool. What were you writing? What were you always in bass music, or was it other genres outside of that, or what were you what did you start with?
Yeah, well, I started off my first like exposure to any of this was 2011 Electric Forest.
Okay.
And I walked.
That's a good introduction.
Yeah. I mean, I saw so many like big boys, but like the first artist I saw was Excision, and I was like, oh, that's so sick. I want to do that. And then after that whole weekend, I ended up buying a MacBook after that weekend and started down the rabbit hole. And realized it's a lot harder to make bass music like that with zero production knowledge. Yeah. So I started doing rap beats for like friends that were rappers and stuff. I love like rap.
Yeah, I was looking at your Twitter, even recent posts you've been talking about rap. You just went to a rap show not too long ago, right?
Yeah. So that's like really like. That's also like where I get most of my like inspiration to bring into the EDM world is in there. But yeah, I started working with rappers doing rap beats and stuff. And then all of a sudden, a few years later, trap kind of blew up and started on that. I was like, oh, wow, I can actually make like these big bass like rap beats essentially. And then that's kind of went down that road. And then I think you got to like 2016 where you got like the Zomboy era and like when you were hearing like a bitch every single show and I think that's kind of like you had like 2016, 2017, you had so much of that music that 2018, like the bass scene was almost ready for a little bit of a shift at that point.
Right.
And I think that's why that shift happened.
So cool.
To like, to more experimental, lower stuff, more like groove based,
right,
and stuff.
Right.
So,
which I actually prefer. I've said this a lot, but I'm more of a fan of that type of stuff than like the rhythm, like quarter note.
Yeah,
type
I
shit.
like bounce. Yeah. I like bounce more.
Yeah.
So.
Did you feel a lot of pressure after that song to like continue with that? Because I've heard from a lot of people when they have like a smash hit, especially early in their career, it's hard to follow that up, and there's a lot of pressure that surrounds that.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, that was 2018. That was about 7 years into producing for me. So I was kind of like, all right, here we go. Finally something. So, no, I didn't really feel too much pressure after. Like, I don't know.
Did you have shit like ready to follow it up, or were you?
Yeah, okay. At that point, I had we had just put that 2018, and then I announced that I was going on tour with like Liquid Stranger. I had my first EP came out right after Babatunde with Wakan, and then I had another EP already ready to go after the tour. So I had a nice stockpile of songs.
I think that's where a lot of people kind of might fall short if they get lucky on a song and then they don't have anything to follow it up with. But yeah, like you said, you were already in the game for 7 years. You were like, it was time for you.
Yeah. It was kind of like that breaking point finally. So
what does Babatunde mean? What was the origin or the meaning of that song?
While we were working on the song, I was living in Detroit. Matt was in LA, and he ordered DoorDash to a taco spot that I used to go to all the time in LA. And the DoorDash driver was named Babatunde.
Perfect. That's funny.
Yeah, that's it. We were just like, let's just name the song that. And it was just random, and I don't know, it just worked. I don't know.
That's funny.
It's just kind of cool. So
what did life look like before that song came out, like in your personal life? I know you said you were doing landscape, right?
Yeah, I was doing landscaping and putting up Christmas tree lights and like doing
random
all
odd
sorts
jobs.
of like home stuff for like a neighbor who like needed help, who had multiple properties and stuff. So I was just doing that, and yeah, just like just working on music, and then just, you know, basically just doing manual labor jobs.
trying to make it work.
Just like, yeah, and just saving money. And, you know, luckily with that job, I was just saving money. And then when the music started taking off, and then like, you know, it got an agent, started getting shows booked. At that
like
point,
once you get an agent, it's like most people are like, okay, cool, I can do this full time now. Yeah.
That's literally like, I had money saved, and I was like, okay, I got an agent. I feel comfortable with where things are. I'm gonna quit the job, and this is my full. Yeah, this is my life, and it has been since then.
That's
so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What would you have done if like that song never took off and that wouldn't have happened?
Just kept going. Making. Yeah, just kept going. I mean, I just would have kept going until.
Did you have any other? I guess when did you fully commit to like grinding on music? Like, was there anything else that you wanted to do career-wise outside of that, or?
I went to college at Western Michigan. I graduated with a food marketing degree.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, like basically everyone that graduated from my program went and worked at like Kraft and like General Mills and like these giant food companies and stuff.
So the shit that you see on TV, you would have been a part of making that.
Yeah, and just like in general, like just like there's all sorts of like wild stuff in that world. Like basically like a grocery store, everything is like a real estate spot. And those companies pay for certain spots, and there's so like that kind of marketing is the ski, like, and all that is like there's a giant world in that. And so I had a job offer after college, and I just turned it down. And I said, I'm just gonna pursue music. Like I won't be able to pursue music like that. So it was kind of like, all right, well, let's take a leap of faith and go after it.
Well, I guess then why did you go to college? Was it just because to have a backup plan, or?
I was at college. I didn't know about this music until I was in college.
Got it. So it was just your life path kind of led you into music during that time. Interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What were some of your other interests, I guess, like growing up, or what are maybe even still, what's some of your interests outside of music?
I grew up playing hockey, so that's what I did.
Did you ever want to go pro with that?
I mean, I got hurt like pretty bad when I was a junior, and so I kind of fell off like that dream of that. And also it's just like in high school, it's just like, okay, well, this isn't happening, so now I'm just gonna go to college and try to figure out what actually I'm gonna do and whatnot. But yeah, video games, I still play video games, like not too much, but just a nice little bit here and there just to do things. And I love movies, TV shows, pop culture, going to concerts. I mean, obviously going to EDM shows is my job now. So like on my free time outside of that, I enjoy going to rap shows and stuff. Nice.
So your time at Icon, what happened there? Why didn't you continue? What happened?
I had a good experience. Like there's nothing, like it just wasn't for me. I went, it was a 4-quarter system. I went 3 quarters, and then I ended up leaving the 4th quarter. I had 3 months left in Los Angeles when I was living there. And so I was just like, I'm just going to stay here and try to write music and meet other artists. And felt like that was better instead of the time and money that I was going to pay for that last. So it was just also where I was. Like, I think that I did learn a lot at Icon, but like at that time period, I may have been, I don't know if it was, I should have necessarily gone to it because I was a little bit ahead of things.
That's what I was going to ask. Were you like more skilled? Like, just kind of like you already know all this shit?
Yeah. So, I mean, but that's obviously, you don't really know
right.
do it. So
where did your education, I guess, where did you learn a lot of that then? Outside
just
of Icon?
Honestly, just working with other people. Yeah. That's the biggest like learning of any of this.
You hear
stuff
like
has just
YouTube tutorials, you hear a bunch of different things, Patreon, blah blah blah, but it's like really just getting in the room with people.
Yeah, just being out like in the field with people doing it and like working back and forth with talented people and seeing how their process is. That's the biggest learning.
Sometimes that's the
thing for me.
Yeah, just getting in the arena and going for it. That's sometimes even outside of music, the best way to learn things is just getting your hands dirty.
Yep, 100%.
Fast forwarding to nowadays, I know in the last year maybe, I don't remember exactly when it went live or when you guys released it, but your collab with Skrillex. I know a lot of people. That's a lot of people like bucket list something they want to accomplish in their careers. So when did that opportunity come to be, and how did you and Peekaboo kind of get that chance with such a legend?
Dude, it was like really something that just absolutely naturally just fell into place in like a wild way. Like it was actually like a year ago today that I had just got done with tour with Buku, and I was living in Denver, came back. My life or whatever at that time was kind of just flipped on its head. I was like, all right, I guess I'm moving back to Detroit. And first person I called was Matt and told him I'm moving back to Detroit. And he just said, good, this is where you belong. He's like, but let's get in the studio when you get back and let's write a banger. And I said, all right. And a week later, we wrote the demo for Badders and didn't really think that much of it. It was just a fun day in the studio. And
just like Babatunde, you guys didn't think much of it. And
just
there it is.
Nothing too crazy. He posts on his story the little whip that we have. Flo Dan hears it that night. He says, yo, let me get on that. Right. He sent vocals the next day. Oof. The vocals set absolutely perfectly on it. And I was just like, when we were like just listening, we were just like, dude, this is crazy. Like, I feel like this is like almost like a Skrillex song.
So I'm gonna that's where I'm gonna pause you. Why didn't you guys, if it was already good, what happened? I mean, obviously getting Skrillex on anything is gonna be a life achievement. But what was the reason why you actually brought him in?
So then after because we had just gotten the first half of the vocals, we still were waiting on the second half from Flo Dan. We didn't get a full cut. And then Matt just posted a video story or just a story or not a story. He posted on Instagram, just like the demo clip, and Skrillex reposted it and liked it. And then he ended up FaceTiming Matt when we were in Colorado when Matt was playing. He was supposed to be playing Red Rocks and weather.
Was that? You have a picture of that on your Instagram, right?
It was like it was like 2 days after the Coachella thing, and that was the first time I had actually spoken with him because they had worked on Hydrate and whatnot. And he was just like, dude, like, I love the track. And he's like, I've got some really cool arrangement ideas and whatnot. And so we sent him the project file. And he like really took it to the absolute next level, just added some crazy sound design, arranged it, just really like put it to like a new level. And we were just like, wow. And yeah, I mean, that's like, it was just super natural. He really enjoyed the track, had really cool ideas. And
did you actually get any studio time with him?
I did not get in studio time with him. That project we sent him remotely.
Got it.
And
still cool though.
So that's yeah. So that track, when we sent him the project, he actually started a separate track with it, and that track ended up becoming Pepper.
I don't know if I've heard that. Maybe I have.
Which is the track with Flo Dan and Lil Baby.
Oh yeah.
Because you can hear some of the samples from Badders. Yes.
Oh, sick.
So we have credits on this. Cool. So that's how, we did get credits on that because of that. So.
Yeah, behind the scenes, you almost kind of have like two songs with Skrillex then, kind of.
Yeah. The other one, I mean, like it was like the other one, though, like that was no like production like involved. I mean, like there was the initial production, but that was from our end. That was it. So
that's cool.
Yeah. I know some people when I posted like the credit thing, they were like, did not understand it in like the EDM world of things sometimes because you just kind of, obviously. A lot of people don't understand
that stuff either.
Yeah. The writers and whatnot that's involved with it. And
right.
So.
Yeah. I also want to talk, I mean, you've done. We were talking about some of the work that you've done. You've done work in the rap scene too, right?
Yes.
Yeah. What have you done anything major there? I mean, other than Skrillex, putting that on to the side for a second. What have you done in like the other genres that you've worked on?
I've done so. I did a track with Project Pat and DJ Afterthought.
Oh yeah, I've had Afterthought on the show too. Great dude.
So we did that track with Project Pat, and that was really cool, obviously, with his ties with 3-6 Mafia, Memphis. And it's kind of like telling I'm really inspired by the Memphis music and whatnot. And like, you can hear obviously some of that in Badders and whatnot with like the funky samples and the cowbells and stuff.
What makes something Memphis?
It's a lot of the resampled vocals that are almost like, it's almost like they're a little bit lo-fi because they're just like scratchy, like almost like VHS. I don't know. They're like weird, like recordings, but like down pitch, they just sound so gangster. And just like with like cowbells, you hear it so much sampled in like Suicide Boys and like ASAP Rocky's been very like, done that a long time ago. But obviously the genre of funk has blown up.
Yeah, I was literally just talking about this last episode.
Yeah, so that's like a whole nother world. That music streams really well.
Yeah. It's crazy how quickly that genre took off.
Yes.
Absolutely it took off.
I think it kind of really blew up during the pandemic.
Yeah.
It really was just like almost like YouTube music that blew up. Like, and then like the drift aesthetic and everything that tied in with it. But it ended up becoming like a very world music. Like, it's worldwide. It's huge.
And
Brazil,
then also
Japan,
like African music or African type like dance music is also going crazy right now too.
Yep,
we're on a world scale.
Yeah, you're getting a lot of world music is kind of
so cool.
Getting very. I mean, it's really good. It's good for music in general.
It's cool. It's power of the internet, I guess, right? It's just post it and anyone in the world can see it. It's so cool. What were some of the things, I guess, was there any lessons from working with Skrillex that, or even the project that you did with Afterthought that you now use into your production today? Was there any like staple learning lessons in either of those experiences?
I don't know about like production lessons, but I'd say definitely just like mentorship lessons. I think with Skrillex, just like very like wise pieces of advice. A lot of, if you watch like his little Grammy red carpet
I was gonna bring that
speech,
up.
he mentioned a lot of the same things that I've heard. But yeah, just basically like just being very, comfortable with yourself to make the best art that you can make. And he's one of those people that what you see is what you get.
That's so cool.
Like being so musically inspired by him and just always being like obviously just inspired as him as an artist, and then meeting him and actually seeing like that's him.
Yeah,
so, like, he's real. He's real. Like, so I was like, this is insane.
When did you guys meet in person?
Met him actually in Detroit when he played at Movement Festival.
Cool.
That was the first time met him, and then was with him on Friendship.
Nice,
I believe.
Nice.
But yeah, met him on his beach party set. That was really cool.
What advice would you have for someone who maybe even looking at someone like you who is listening to us right now has a dream artist that they would love to collab with? What advice would you tell that person because you've experienced it? How do you get yourself in a position like that?
I mean, I think it's just focusing on you and your art and being like so true to it. Like it shouldn't be something like, it wasn't something that's reaching out to him or anything like that. Yeah, you just have to realize that these things, when they happen, they have to happen naturally and organically, and that's what creates the art.
One thing I've learned in the music, it's the best art is not forced. You can't force it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not. There's nothing like. Yeah, it's just got to like go together and naturally be that. But for any artist, just like you just got to keep following your own little path and, almost have the blinders on, obviously still see what's going on, but not ever like lose focus or become jaded by like the current state of the industry and things like, or what other people are doing. And like this, like at the end of the day, you just need to focus on your own art.
How have you remained focused? How have you kept that aspect of yourself?
I've definitely lost focus at times. I've definitely lost it, but then regained it and whatnot.
So, okay, so here's a better question: how have you regained it when you do lose it?
I think that I've like when I lost it, I've almost like forgot how much I absolutely love being creative and doing things. Because like I've been distracted by other things in life. And so when I come back and I'm like, oh my God, what was I doing? like this is what was bringing me so much joy.
Do you ever get that feeling now that it is your full-time job? Do you ever get that feeling now that it is a job that like sometimes you almost lose motivation, you lose that love for it, and you have to remind yourself of the same thing? You get too caught up in like the business work side of things that you have to bring yourself back to that.
Yeah, there's obviously times when you like, you get some news and you're just like, oh, this is like, you know, kind of bums you out and whatnot. But like, you just got to keep going and whatnot. And like,
keep it trucking, no matter what.
I mean, everyone who's an artist, like, you know, has that moment when they're like happy about something they made. Like, even if it's a piece of shit. Like, I made this piece of shit. Yeah. I made this piece of shit today. Yeah. So like,
it's like,
and like,
like
remembering that joy.
Just talking a little while ago where you're saying, you know, even though any little inch forward is still a step forward. So
exactly. Yeah.
We're talking a lot about staying true to yourself. I wanted to bring in, because something that a lot of people notice when they listen to your music is the producer tag, the horse.
Yeah.
How did that come to be, and how does that really fit into the G-Rex brand?
See, that's the thing. Like I put it in there like I haven't used it recently too much because I like almost wanted to separate.
I was gonna say
from
I was gonna ask if the song with Skrillex. I don't think you put it in that one.
I didn't. No, but what I always do in every song that I have is like an Easter egg is I do have like weird animal sounds sampled in weird different ways. And like, so we put like the Ed and Eddie monkey scream in Badders. So that was in there, but
I'm going to listen to that song and try and find it.
Try and dig it. Yeah. But it's, I just put it in there as like, I would put it in there because I wanted to, like, obviously like a rap producer tags their songs. I wanted to like start tagging songs. And so I was doing it and it really, really helped because a lot of the music was getting played out and people were hearing the horse and they'd be like, what the hell is
branding,
that?
Yeah.
And then and it would bring them back to the music. I just don't use it that much anymore, especially like trying to do like demos with like serious rappers and stuff. I'm like, I feel like
I think it's kind of hard though, man. I like it.
I mean, it works. I actually brought it back in something I was working with the other day. So I kind of like still want to like
a little bit,
bring it in, here and there, just to see if people catch it and shit.
How has having you kind of already explained it, but how do you think, other than like bringing people to the music when people are playing it live, how else do you think having a producer tag helps an artist?
I mean, definitely from a rap side, obviously.
Yeah, why do
like,
they do it there?
Gives, I mean, you really have to dig on Spotify and go through the credit list. Like the most, like everyday listener wouldn't go to the credit list. I wonder who produced this. And then you're going to go on there and you're going to find their legal name too. So like, you're not even going to know like their artist name. So it's like.
So it's made up for having a team of people writing a song. The main producer, it's to identify that person and to almost brand.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Well, I think like, especially from the rap side of rap producers, I mean, a lot of modern rap music, the beats are so important. Obviously, they're driving to the track.
Right.
So these producers obviously want to create their own brands to make merch and have their other, like opportunities for income because just getting small percentage of beat productions on like hit records, like it's even if they're hit records, it's still like
a small percentage.
not sustainable for like yeah, it's obviously they're just trying to build their brand.
Do you think that other people in the EDM scene would benefit from having producer tags?
I think there is people that you're seeing benefits now. Like I think like Tate B, for example.
Yeah. What is his?
I mean, Yo Tate B.
Oh yeah, okay.
So I think that's done really well. I mean, there's a couple other producers, but just not as many, obviously, in the EDM world.
I was just curious about it because I wasn't sure if like it was like a benefit or if it was just kind of a branding thing or like why you did it, but that makes sense.
I think later after doing it, I found the benefit in it, but initially there was no.
You were just trying to
that whatsoever.
Borrow an idea from the rap culture that you like.
Yeah, I was just like, what can I borrow this idea and just kind of do something different that maybe would relate in EDM, and especially doing like experimental bass, like it was a hand in hand kind of deal.
Right. I've always had this. You talking about that? I've always had this question in my head. What's the difference between? And you kind of produce this style, and you love rap, so you're probably a good person to ask this question to. What's the difference between trap and rap and trap and EDM? I've never been like, I know it's the same word, but I've never been able to tell like the difference.
Yeah, I mean, trap music to me, like when trap music came out, like it was like Young Jeezy and Gucci Mane, like beefing in Atlanta, like that's and T.I. and like all that stuff, and then obviously trap music became something in the EDM world, and what was it, like 2013, I'd say, with like Harlem Shake and Uzi, and like there's like Milo and Otis. There's so many people pushing.
Even still with like Troy Boy does trap still.
Yeah. He was in there like at that same time. And R.L. Grime, obviously, and like all that. So like the EDM trap kind of like emerged.
Is there similarities? Because it's kind of different things, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely similar. I think that the only main similarity is the drums.
Got it. Okay.
The trap drums are just like from the Gucci Mane, Young Jeezy. It's just the 808 traps.
So that's what they mean by trap is the drum pattern.
Yeah, okay. It's the drums and just like the general aesthetic is just like dark. It's just like dark minor written in like lower keys, just like big bass, kind of like minimal, just eerie. Like nighttime. You feel like you're gonna get robbed.
Like I heard someone call. Do you like wave music?
Yeah. I know some people cross funk with that. Yeah, but wave music's still trap drums.
That's what I'm saying. It's almost like I've heard people call it like melodic trap almost.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's kind of just like more like a lot. There's like funk samples in there, and there's like a lot of respaces and stuff like that. Yeah. So
we've been talking a lot about, the highs of you writing big songs with, Skrillex and Babatunde taking off your career and stuff. But what have been, I guess, some of the lows in your career? What have been some of the hard times that you've had to face throughout this process?
Oh, I definitely.
It's been a long time, so probably a lot, but.
I would definitely say like going from 2019, like doing like full tour with Liquid Stranger, Australia, New Zealand with him, and then doing festival season, then doing a full tour with Zeke Beats. And then 2020 came, and January, I was like, I've toured this entire year of 2019. I would like the first month off, and then starting in February, and then we all know what happened the next month, and then it was all over. Yes, then I got the time off that I wanted, but like not how I wanted it. That was definitely a lot. Because I had a lot of festivals. I was on the Excision tour at that time. Just starting to, it was really, and so like I think that was definitely like a difficult, not difficult, but it was just like harder.
Timing
it was just
was
like
hard,
I'm just like, dude, like this thing just kicked off, like then this happened, so it was kind of just like, okay, but I mean, it was like that for everyone. Everyone had to kind of figure it. So it's not very.
Being in that position, how did you manage to hold on to everything?
Well, it was definitely like doing like being interactive, like doing the Twitch streams.
I was gonna ask, were you a part of like live streaming and that culture?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I was like doing some of the live stream stuff.
Did you do anything for Insomniac?
I didn't do any Insomniac ones. I just did like personal ones, and like I was building my like Twitch up and doing that really well. It was definitely more so difficult to write music during that time because it's like, how are you supposed to write music like for this like high energy party environment when you're not doing that?
I did enjoy seeing a lot of different artists who they like.
There's shifts
so much, yeah, shifts, but like also like they made almost at home listening music versus the loud crowd party environment. So it was cool seeing a lot of artists change, like experiment in a different style almost.
Yeah, it was a learning period for a lot of people, but it was definitely a learning period for me in general.
How are you still making money? Because I know that was kind of probably a big hit from going from all the touring.
Oh,
and all that
was definitely. So at that, like literally like the moment that happened, I was like, well, I've got a bunch of time. I'll start doing lessons.
Oh, okay.
So I just
that's kind of what Lizzie Jane did. I know you've been on her show too. That's what a lot of people did is started doing Patreon and lessons and.
Yeah, I started just doing private lessons with people, and I did a lot. Obviously, like when I first announced it, there was like a big first rush, and so I like did those, and then had some repeating people and fell off. But that obviously that helped me for a while, and then just I don't know, slowly figuring some things out.
So I'm curious. I think it's important for people to have the experience of you're experiencing life when you have highs and lows, right? And when you're going through a low moment, like I think it's important because it's times when you learn more about yourself. It's time when you like we were just talking about, experiment with new styles of music. You have more time to, whatever it may be. What's your opinion on like people? Do you think people need to have the low moments in life along your journey? Okay. Yeah.
I mean, if you're just like on the high all the time, you don't learn any lessons.
And I feel like that would be like boring too.
Yeah,
everything was great all the time.
Yeah, you got to get kicked down and figure out how to get back up and figure it out. I mean, everyone that's really fucking good at what they do has been dealt
necessary
with
part,
some serious shit. Yeah. It's the humbling part. Outside of
COVID, what other things have you had to face?
Just life in general. Like obviously, like
I know you're talking about you were living in Denver, then you moved back to Detroit. A lot of that stuff.
Yeah, just like relationships, like friends, family, just like
normal life shit.
Normal life shit. Like just the balance.
How do you balance that with a touring schedule?
It's very hard.
Yeah, because I know even for me, like even disregard the touring aspect of it, but just putting your whole heart and passion into a project, whether it be a musician or a podcast or whatever it may be, it takes a lot of your time. And it's like,
absolutely,
yeah, it's like hard to like,
and energy.
Yeah. And it's hard to give your time and energy outside of that to anything else when you're so engrossed in it. And I have that same problem. So how have you learned to manage, still having a life, but you're a touring artist. So that's even more.
Yeah. It's just a lot of balance and figuring out. I mean, like I will definitely eating better and working out and stuff, because touring, like everyone just sees like the videos from the shows and the stuff.
The highlight reels.
They don't. The highlight reels. They don't see your sad ass having to go to the airport at 3-4 in the morning to get on a flight and connect somewhere and not sleep, and then or like get somewhere at like a hotel at like 10 a.m. They won't even let you check in. Like it's there's like brutal travel things. And then obviously too, just like being at shows, like, I love making music. I love playing shows. I love saying what's up to everyone, but like it is socially draining. Like it's just
when I was younger, I was so like go out whenever, like talk to a million people, hang out all the time. The older I get and the more my career is developing, the more I'm like, I'm such a homebody. no one fuck with me. I need my energy. Like,
yeah,
leave me alone.
I feel like it's something you don't realize when you're younger, but the older you get, you realize that just general conversations with tons of people all the time and stuff, like, will drain the shit out of you. Like, it's very important to come back and have like some alone recharge time and like get your head just leveled back and whatnot. So
you were talking about being a big fan of TV and movies. That's a good way to take your rest.
Yeah. I like watch a lot of comedy and stuff too.
Are you a stand-up fan?
Lighten things up. Yeah,
I love that's my like music, and stand-up is like what I'm mainly fan of. I love comedy, man. Who are some of your favorites?
I love Andrew Santino.
Yeah, Whiskey Ginger, let's go.
Yeah, I like Whiskey Ginger. I like the Bad Friends.
Tommy,
I've seen the Bad Friends live. I'm gonna go see them again actually here soon.
So cool.
But yeah, I've seen Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle.
Oh, I'd love to see Chappelle.
Yeah, Hannibal Buress. I saw him back in the day. Like, I've seen some people.
Man, you've been a comedy fan for a while then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because I found like Hannibal Buress because he was like on the Eric Andre show, and then I'm a big fan of like Danny Brown and stuff when Danny Brown was like really popping here in Detroit and stuff, kind of like 2011 when he was doing all the stuff with A$AP Rocky and Schoolboy.
Where is Detroit? How close to that? How close are you to like New York?
We're far from New York. Yeah, I'm a hike from New York.
But you're still more on the East Coast. I just feel like comedy, like there is the LA scene. Even for music, I feel like LA is becoming like less and less of the place for things. Like Colorado is now popping for like dubstep. Comedy's huge on the East Coast.
Austin.
Yeah, and Austin.
Yeah,
because of Rogan and because of
Tim Dillon and some of those guys.
What's that one show that they
Kill Tony.
Yes, Kill Tony, that's how it is. Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I'm very familiar with all that stuff. Yeah, I like that.
Love comedy. Well, I wanted to finish up here. Didn't just talk about. I know you've been on tour. We've been trying to get you on the podcast for like a year now or some shit. It's been a while.
Yeah,
but you were busy touring. But are you still in the middle of that? Are you done now?
No, I'm pretty light this year. I'm kind of just planning on doing like just mostly writing this year.
Cool.
I really want to just kind of like
you're taking
put out as much
actual
music.
Break that you wanted to have. Not so much the COVID time, but the break that you kind of
just yourself. Like do like the shows that are like the right shows, and then just focus on just like really putting out a lot of music.
Sick.
So
you're doing some other work in other genres still, and still continuing on with that?
Yeah, definitely working with a lot. Just like this year in general, like just like one of the shifts is like I've been trying to do like more like records, like instead of just doing like a atonal banger, you know, like I still love making that kind of music, but I'm really like enjoying the process of working with like actual rappers, going back and forth with ideas, like developing a record, like
an actual like full project.
So there's definitely working with some exciting people.
Sweet.
From different genres and stuff. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Back to tour. Where was it across the United States, or where were you guys' route?
I have toured, I don't know, full ass tours, and I mean, the Liquid Stranger was a bus tour.
No, the last one you were just on with
the last one,
Stuka,
or the Stuka one. Stuka. Okay, so no, that was just fly out dates.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was it wasn't like super crazy.
Got it.
Yeah, I don't think it was like 8 dates. It wasn't anything like super.
What were you on before that then?
The Buku tour.
Got it. Got it.
And that was like 37 dates. So that was. And that was like 6 months long, spread out with the holidays and whatnot. Damn. So that was a very long one.
Yeah. What were like room sizes for that tour?
It depends. I mean, we had some festivals sprinkled in there where we did back-to-backs. There was some places where 200 cap. Some rooms were 1,300 cap. So. It just depended on the markets. Obviously, smaller markets, smaller places. Yeah, right. But yeah, it was fun.
What would you say? Do you have any like What's your craziest tour story? What's the craziest thing that's happened to you, like, while traveling?
Crazy.
I mean, other than like the crazy like sleep schedules and shit like that, but has there been anything that's like really stood out of like, I'll remember that forever?
I don't know. I mean, like, off the top of my head, I'd probably say like craziest like tour wise just memories were just like the Liquid Stranger bus tour. And it wasn't like anything crazy. There's nothing crazy. Like there's very strict rules and everyone's very like high and tight.
I've heard
and whatnot.
Liquid Stranger tours are very much. Yeah.
Yeah, it was high, it was very, very like there's no bullshit. But like I think it's just like just playing a show and going to sleep and then waking up in a new city was like a really cool experience.
That's a dream.
Like
yeah.
That's
what people dream about.
It was like nothing I've ever really experienced. And like then I got done with that and then having to like do the same thing except wake up and go to an airport every morning. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, like that was so much better.
Yeah. I feel like you'd get better rest if you're on a bus. You like don't have to worry about weird fucking times and flying in the middle of the night. Yeah. There's a less. Yeah. Have you gone on a headlining bus tour yet?
No.
Okay.
I have not.
Why do people do flying versus bus versus like what?
Bus is really expensive.
Got it. Okay. So unless it's
extremely expensive. So you're going to have a big tour, big rooms, to cover the cost of that. A lot of bus tours, on the smaller side of things, it's almost like a break even kind of thing.
So it makes more sense to fly depending on the size.
It makes more sense. It's just depending on the artist and whatnot.
Got it.
Yeah. So
got it.
To each their own.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's all I kind of had for you, but we'll wrap up with the last few questions. What are you most looking forward to? I know you're going to be having a writing year, you said, but is there anything that you're really looking forward to this year that's coming up?
Yeah, let's see some of the things that we've got. I've got a
that you can't give away
collab. I can give away some of it. I have 2 collabs with Stuka.
Sick.
One of them, we're looking for a rapper now, and that's going to go out on a label that I've never released with. I won't say who because I don't know if I could say that, but I'm kind of excited about that. Another song I have with him and a rapper named Take 45, who is I ended up running across him on TikTok. I reached out to him on Instagram. Super talented rapper. He also is a producer, can sing, rap.
Rapper who can sing. He's a good guy to have around.
Extremely talented. But we did a track that's more of a melodic track with me and Stuka and him. So I think I'm excited about that because that's going to kind of different because I've like.
For both, for Stuka too.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be a really cool one. I'm working on a bunch of just like rap flips right now that I'm just going to dump on SoundCloud.
Sweet. Do a little SoundCloud mixtape type thing.
Yep. Nice. Got a 2-track EP coming out with Sully.
Fire.
Come April. Me and Peekaboo did a remix of Pepper.
Nice.
Did that. So for shows, I think right now definitely Red Rocks. That's going to be exciting. Back to back with Sully, April 13th.
Oh, it's coming up.
So
cool. Have you played Red Rocks before?
Yeah, I have not. So this is the first time.
You were supposed to, and then it got canceled, didn't it?
I did not. I have not. He was supposed to, and then it got canceled. Okay. I'm pretty sure something like that happened. But yeah, neither of us have gotten to play it. So this will be
cool.
First time. That's that's exciting. My next show, Brownies and Lemonade.
Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
That's excited about that. That'll be a cool one. Grid Life, which is like a drift race car / bass one.
Nice.
With like Zed's Dead, Immersive, Tate B, really cool lineup. That's gonna be a good one.
And there's gonna actually like be racing.
Yeah, they're bringing drift cars and stuff.
That's cool.
It's literally a combo event. So awesome. That should be a really cool one. So
cool.
Yeah. So just those are the shows and music and just grinding right now. I'm spent all day on Ableton 12 learning that today.
Yeah.
So
how is that?
So cool so far. It's not really anything too crazy.
Different.
They updated the UI. They changed the search around, which is actually, I think, for the better, and then updated all the MIDI stuff.
Cool.
Other than that, it's really
thing basically.
Nothing too, you're not getting anything too crazy.
Yeah.
So
last couple questions. One is I asked both of these actually now at the end of every single episode. There's one piece of advice you could give yourself when you first started producing music. What would that advice to your younger self be? Yeah,
I think like the first thing is just like, especially off the rip, just work with everyone.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's how you learn.
Especially just like obviously, like being a music producer is niche in general in the grand scheme of things. So like if you find people that are like-minded in your area and stuff, just go work with them. If you guys are all just starting off, and have fun with it, and like, you know,
never know what's gonna happen. You and Peekaboo, boys from Detroit, with Babatunde, it can happen just like that. So
yeah, a lot of these like artists that are now touring artists, like I just reached out to them on Facebook years and years ago, like Yuki and like Heckler and the AT-Aliens and like a lot of like all these dudes, like, you know, Tynan. Like I just like I
think that's what's cool, and by you guys doing that and kind of all growing up in this scene together in a way, I feel like that's why, like, at least I'm not in that scene 100% obviously, but from the outside, it seems like the high up people, like you said, it's so niche that you guys are such like a tight knit group, all friends, all homies, all like, it's a cool environment to be in.
Yeah. And when you're at a similar level of someone like that and you like reach out to them and they see,
and it can be that way just in your local scene too. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, from the start. So like I think it's important to like reach out and make like some sort of like network and community of like with producers and like-minded people.
Last final question. Who are 3 people that you would say that you would like to see on the show in the future?
Ooh, let's see. Who should we get on here? Apache.
Yeah, Apache's he has a lot of knowledge too, and he's very like, talk about someone who sticks true to himself. Yeah.
Yes, I did some tour dates with him and seeing the orchestra and everything.
Insane.
Like, love. Yeah, it's very, very fucking cool and very refreshing. And so like I think that would be cool for people to hear. I'd say like I don't know anyone like off the like, I'd say like a vocalist like that does like a lot like of.
We've had a few on. I guess we've had Danny King, we've had Sounder, we've had Michael Martin on. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Skrillex. No, I'm just
kidding. get him on.
Someday.
I'd actually say my Take 45, the rapper.
Okay.
I think like one day.
Yeah. Bet. Yeah, I'll definitely.
He works with some very, very cool people behind the scenes that are like
shit. Yeah.
So.
Awesome. Well, I'll hit you up, especially for that one. If I know you're working
Stuka too.
Yeah
Stuka.
Dude, I've been listening to Stuka's music probably about as long as I've been listening to your music. So yeah, he's another one of my favorites when it comes to that genre.
Yeah, he'd be a great person to talk to about.
Well, if he's willing to do it, I'll reach out. But thank you so much, man. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. Please make sure to subscribe if you're on YouTube and drop us a 5-star review if you're listening on Apple or Spotify. And I hope everyone has a great week. Thanks so much to you, Rex, for coming on the podcast today, man.
Dude, thank you so much. Appreciate it. You guys take it easy.